Here we go, damn it.
July 26, 2009. VGN Radio presents Midwest Wasteland with your hosts, Kevin Baird,
Brian Baird,
Don Cease,
and Larry Mack.
Tonight's topic, drinking. Okay, so,
Okay.
welcome to the
Thank you,
show.
Okay, thanks for listening.
no disclaimers, no nothing.
No,
Just
let me see.
thou
Show
shalt
notes.
not try this at home.
If you're-
Many of the stories you're about to hear are done by trained professional alcoholic drunks. Do not attempt them at home. You could injure yourself or others. We've been doing this a lot of years, kids. Don't think you can just show up and hang with us.
I'm putting together a final order for anybody that wants the DVDs. We talked about this before. The archive of all the previous shows. We gave we sold them about 6 months ago, and about 30 people bought them or something. I can't quite remember.
Breaking a bank.
And
How much are they?
they are $35 now. Yeah. That's not what we sold them for originally. Originally, they were about $20, but they're a pain in the ass to put together, and I'm not making any more. I guess this is the point. If you want to get them, you can't get the old shows anymore because the file server is now officially offline, and I can't put them up on Libsyn because the way Libsyn works is you only get a set amount of storage space every month, and so there's not enough to actually put up old shows, or maybe I could put up like one a month or something, which would take forever to go through all the old shows. So at the moment,
the best of. There you go.
Right at the moment, I can't put any of the old shows up, and so the only way you can get them outside of somebody else giving them to you is to order one of these archive CDs.
Or the black market.
Right. So, as well as the videos. So if you want one, I'm only going to take orders up until August 8th. After that time, they'll never be made again. Maybe I'll make something else in the future, like put them all on a memory card or something, but I'm not making any more of these DVDs because it takes hours of my day to make even one set, because I just have to sit here and wait for them to finish burning so I can flip them, and then I got to print the labels. I'm not going to go into it, but it takes a long time, so I just want to get it over with. And I've had a few orders already from people on the forums that know about this. So if you want to get yours, this is your last opportunity to get it. Send me an email, editor@videogamenews.com. Just tell me what your address is, and if you want the days or the soiled artwork. If you don't know, that's available on our forums, so you can take a look at them at videogamenews.com. You can see the different artwork if it matters. If you don't care about the artwork, that's fine too. Just tell me you don't care. But just send me your address to editor@videogamenews.com that you're interested, and I'll email you an invoice, and then that's it. Once August 8th starts, I'll start pressing them all together and shipping them out. So that's it.
What?
Yeah. And so, anyway, Brian, Larry, and I went to, yesterday, first to Larry's, what's the official name of that, Larry?
It is the 8th annual Victoria A. Horn Memorial Cancer Benefit to benefit St. Jude Children's Research Hospital.
Yeah,
Captain.
and it was all right. It was a pretty good deal. I thought it was a good deal. You went in to this sports bar, which was weird to have it at a sports bar, but all right. And you paid $15 a head, which is about as much as midnight bowling for one person. And for 2 hours, you got all you can eat of the food, which was like wings, pasta, pizza, brownies,
And Cindy Mac's brownies.
yeah.
I didn't eat any of it.
Did she actually make those?
Yeah.
Oh, because there was like a sheet pan worth of brownies. That was a lot.
Yeah,
of brownies.
she made like 6 dozen brownies.
Jesus, I didn't know.
I
didn't actually have one because I thought they were just bar brownies, and I was like,
Oh.
I'm not eating a brownie from a bar.
No, those are homemade by Cindy Mac.
And so I'm sure you have extra now sitting at home. Yeah, and then you got you can drink regular beer, and so it was a good deal. Brian and I both. I don't know, Brian. I don't know how many you drank, like 7 or 8 or something. I had like 6.
What, when we were there or all together?
No, when we were there. Yeah, just at that. And I saw Bill Bailey. Haven't seen that guy since he originally lived with Brian. That's how long ago that was.
Damn.
And So I'm caught up with him. He's not drinking anymore, and
Yeah, he's born again, so he can't pollute his body like that.
How long that lasts?
He's dealing with some issues, but he looked good, and he talked shit about himself, but he didn't actually look as bad as when I saw him like 20 years ago or something. So I thought he was doing all right. And he was there with his friend Sean, and he was a cool dude. He was in the Navy too, so we were talking Navy stories and stuff. And yeah, like I had any. Well, Brian, Bill, and
so Kevin was listening to them talk Navy stories.
Decided not to.
I was afraid. I don't want to go. Yeah. Anyway, that was fucking dumb. And but then we left. Although it was weird because Larry had his girlfriend there and his ex-girlfriend there. Larry, I never quite understand you and your ex-girlfriends. They seem to.
Well, they just don't kill you.
They seem to just linger in your life forever, don't they? They just
I maintain healthy, friendly relationships with many of my ex-girlfriends.
I mean, I went to a bachelor party once, and one of your ex-girlfriends got naked with a couple of strippers.
Yeah,
and,
yes, she did, and that's the sort of thing you can do by maintaining healthy, friendly relationships with your ex-girlfriends.
Quite bizarre.
Not any of mine.
So then Brian and I don't know exactly where Larry left to go to for a while, but Brian and I went and got Mexican, and Brian ordered a 45-ounce gold tequila strawberry margarita, and it was really strong,
like the size of his head.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was big, dude. They brought it out, and I just the first thing I thought was, okay, this is a joke, right?
Yeehaw, yeehaw.
Put down in front of me, going, oh my god.
I just looked at the menu and go, Brian, that's an $18 drink. He's like, yeah, I know.
$18.
Yeah.
Fuck, how many shots are in that damn thing?
It was
a lot.
Yeah.
About $18 worth.
It was,
Yeah.
Holy crap, dude.
Yeah, that we should have finished the night, really, but no. It didn't. I continued to go out.
That's awesome.
It was.
Something was wrong with me. I thought it was 18. Then I woke up this morning. First thing I discovered was I was at Kevin's house still.
Hold on. We're not there yet. Just wait.
Yeah, not there yet.
So the thing is like I went out to just go to Larry's thing, and I had no idea really what was going to happen. I wasn't sure if it was going to turn into bands or something. So I wore my Iron Maiden T-shirt because everybody knows how much I love Iron Maiden. And I wore that out, and immediately Larry, upon seeing me, called me a poser. So that was good. And ironically enough, though, we got invited to go see an Iron Maiden tribute band.
Oh yes,
about 100 miles away. So
like a real.
So
100 miles.
No,
It was Lakewood.
Yeah, it was in Lakewood, which is by the lake. Which, like, people who don't know, if you're in Cuyahoga County, the furthest north that you can go is Lakewood, and the furthest south you can go is where I live. So basically, it was like in two corners of the county, and I had to drive there. So anyway, Brian was like, "Come on, let's go!" I'll kill you. So I'm like, "All right, we'll go." So we drive. We had a little trouble finding it because it is like
it's a hole in the fucking wall.
Miss it.
It is totally a tiny joint, and there's a weird area right there between. There's like this West 117th Street, and if you go west of 117th Street, it's Lakewood, and it's. I'm not going to say Lakewood's a nice neighborhood, but it's okay. And if you go east of 117th Street,
it's the hood.
Yeah, it's pretty much ghetto. and so this place was like on
the border. It was the keep on the border lanes,
right on the border, which you park your car at your own risk type of thing.
Yeah,
and
like Kevlar on the windows or something.
So we get there and immediately Brian pees on a tree. And
I had to go.
If you've ever been through that experience with Brian, he gets stage fright, so you can't talk.
Really bad.
You just gotta kind of walk away and kind of look at your watch and be like, "Come on!" He's like, "I'm thinking, I'm
don't look at me."
And the tree's like, "Come on, hurry up!" So anyway, we go in and we see some of our other friends. Obviously, Brian knows everyone there somehow, and I knew one guy there, Oz, and then Larry showed up. And Larry, can you explain what the deal was with the Mad Dog 2020 you were drinking?
I went to the bar to get a couple of beers, and I saw that they had the big flasks of Mad Dog behind the bar. I was like, oh my god, you guys sell Mad Dog. I was thinking you get like a glass of Mad Dog or something.
Oh god, I drank some of that, didn't I?
Yeah, but they she's like, sure. I was like, well, let me get the grape then. And she just hands me the big giant fucking flask, and it was like $5. So I was like, okay.
Larry says flask as though that sounds like something you put in your coat pocket.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a bottle. I mean, it's like a bottle you buy at the store of Mad Dog.
I'm looking at it now, and it doesn't
like
really tell me the
14
size.
ounce or something, or
Oh no. It doesn't tell me the size on it, but there are a couple digits involved in the ounces.
It's one of those bars that sells Mad Dog 2020 in the bottle.
I've never seen.
And
nor have I. That's why I was like, I need to have that.
Tall boys of Paps, and Oz was like, give me one of these, and when I asked him what he was drinking, and it was like Old Milwaukee's Best.
Oh my god!
In the can. It's one of those. And at one point I was drinking Jim Beam and Coke that Oz gave me. I don't know. So first band played, I don't know. Anyway, everybody knows this guy Blackie, and he's in both bands, I guess, the first two bands.
The first two.
Yeah.
Octu and Maiden Voyage.
Okay. Octu?
His name Lawless or something?
Octu.
Mach.
All right. Oh, Mach 2. All right. Were the first band, and were they a cover band, or were they just anything?
No, that was original stuff.
Oh, okay. Because Oz came up and he said something like they were all playing, they were supposed to make everything sound like High and Dry from Def Leppard. I didn't know what he was talking about. So
I didn't get that vibe.
Yeah, I didn't get that. I didn't get that either. So they were okay. And then Maiden Voyage came on, which if it was like a choice between seeing the real Iron Maiden today and Maiden Voyage, I might go see Maiden Voyage because they sounded,
damn it!
They
you
sounded
blasphemy again.
They sounded really good
on Iron Maiden.
Well, I don't even know who's singing for Iron Maiden anymore. Is it all the original crew? Is he? Okay. Well, yeah, but they got all those. They got all those new songs and everything too. And
yes, they do have new songs.
Does since I've never seen Iron Maiden in concert, does Bruce Dickinson sing the old stuff like Phantom of the Opera and stuff? He does.
They don't. I haven't seen him do Phantom of the Opera, but yeah, they go all the way back, and he does some of the stuff that Paul Di'Anno did, like they do Iron Maiden and Wrathchild.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. Running Free.
Yep.
No, but seriously, they were really good. They sounded really good. Brian had a little critique about their bass playing, though. He didn't think the bass playing was.
Well, to be fair, the sound system at now that's class.
Shit. I just said it was a guy who could play maybe a little bit better. But.
All right. And so anyway, at that point, the Motorhead tribute show was going to be on next, and it was about 12:15 at that point, and there was no way I was staying for that. And Brian was like, "Come on, let's stay," and I'm like, "I don't know Motorhead. I mean, I know like 3 Motorhead songs or something."
Dude, it was a good idea because it would have been agonizing.
Right. We drove home and then like back to my place, and like we started to watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and see Brian, he fell asleep in like 2 minutes. The guy,
yeah, I tried staying awake.
The guy that wanted to watch Motorhead and shit, like literally.
Motorhead is Motorhead tribute is a bit more exciting than watching fucking Philadelphia.
Dude, you put Philadelphia on that pass right now.
Not Philadelphia. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
I thought you said Philadelphia.
I thought you were talking about the
dude,
fucking...
I just passed out. It was just.
I was like, Motorhead tribute band or dude with AIDS.
No.
Well, that might put me to still.
No, it was actually a funny episode. It was like the third one where they let all the underage kids in to drink. Anyway, if you've never seen it, it's really good.
You should. It's great.
And I don't know, Larry. Did you leave? Did you stay all night? What did you?
No. Cindy was in a bad way, so we didn't catch the Motorhead band either. Yeah. I figured it was probably time to get her home and try and get her some pizza and breadsticks and water because she was already,
The Mad Dog was just she wasn't dealing with that.
Well, actually, she wasn't even drinking the Mad Dog, but she was being Cindy. So I was like, hey, I'm going to go to the bathroom. So her response is, "You're leaving me? You don't want to be with me? Okay, honey. Let's get you home now." "No, I want to show you that I can hang. I want you to be proud of me. I don't want you to
Gracious
think I'm
rebuke on my
playing.
mistake.
I like took her out on the back patio, and she was like all nodding off on the steps, and I was like, yeah, we should probably take you home.
You know, to be fair, most guys' girlfriends don't start drinking with their boyfriends at like 5 or whatever. You know, it was
5.
Well, was it earlier than that for you guys? I don't know. You know, because of the whole. What time did you guys start? 3? Noon? What's going on?
We got up there at like 4.
Think that's healthy?
Wow, a whole hour.
No, I mean, I'm trying to I was drinking before we went up there. I'm not sure if she was drinking while she was baking brownies or not. But
what kind of brownies were you making? Jesus Christ.
There were frosted, unfrosted, and powdered sugar.
No specials? Suck.
So, speaking of which, Don, so what did you do, man? You just had kids and stayed home? Is that,
Yeah, I went out Friday, actually. Went out with my sister's fiance for shit. We went out and played Texas Hold'em. Where in the hell is it? Under a Howl of the Moon.
Sounds
I guess
good.
he got some...
Oh, yeah.
I won like $95 there, and then we went to Shooters, and we fucking stayed there from 8 to 2 in the morning. I was freaking liquored off my goddamn mind. There's like fucking hotties everywhere. And yeah, of course I didn't get any of them because I'm an old fucking fart. And I got home about 3, and I had to be at work at 6, and needless to say, I didn't make it. I got there at 7, and I was feeling quite ill the whole day. It's fucking sweating, and like the guy I was working with is like, "Here, have some coffee." I'm like, "Oh God, get it away from me!" Just like hit it out of his hand. I'm like, "Get that shit away from me!" And then about noon, I started feeling better, and that was it. Then I got my kid after work, and the rest is that's about it.
It was probably wise. So, Larry. What's the next event, man?
The Larry Mac Birthday Bash, September 19th at the Fantasy Nightclub.
Is that before?
Is that a Saturday?
Is that before or after the next Cinema Wasteland?
Before. Next Cinema Wasteland is the first weekend in October.
There you go. Did you guys get your rooms yet?
What day is it?
No, not yet.
It's a weekend, really.
I will be though.
Yeah, I will be. We were. There's always much debate. Are we going in with somebody? Should we get our own? Yeah, we should get our own because fucking Brian snores and shit like that. So
I tend to jerk off when people are asleep.
When's your birthday thing?
Saturday, September 19th.
You and your fucking Saturdays. God damn it.
Yeah, I know. I really
Friday.
should. I really should hold more events on like a Wednesday afternoon.
Friday.
Yeah, you think I want to get out of work? You never know. I might have a job by then. You think I want to get out of work and then have to go someplace? This way, I have the whole day to like gear up and get ready and get my work face on.
Yeah. I'll just have to pick that day off.
So,
you're so loud.
We Karate Dog did send me all of his 8-bit memory shows, and we're going to be adding those to a new RSS feed as part of the Libsyn feed. If you're subscribed to the vgn.libsyn.com/RSS, you'll be getting them automatically when I start releasing them. I'm going to do them one a week until I've got them all up. If not, the direct feed to subscribe to that will be vgn.libsyn.com/RSS/8 and then bit, B-I-T. And that will get you all the Karate Dog 8-bit memory shows. And then if he does new ones, which he might, who knows with him, they'll follow once we get all the old ones up.
You just hit a... Are you done?
Yeah,
go
ahead.
I had a funny memory from Friday. I was out in the middle of the dance floor, and everybody, I don't know, wherever I was at, everybody was using me as like the fucking walkway, because they're like walking in front of me, and like I get like 20 people, and then I move, and they start doing it again. Well, this one girl is like she comes in front of me, kind of, somebody bumps her into me, and she like punches me in the stomach. You know, like kidding, like, and I fucking hip checked her into her friends. She
You're like, bitch, fuck you. He's all slapped her.
Her friends had fallen.
You're dancing, man.
Great.
Yeah, what's that all about, man?
What?
I thought you were a man's man.
You have a cock in your mouth when you're doing that too? What the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm out there dancing with the dance guys. We're sitting there throwing all these masculine stories of drunken
took a
posturing
fucking
around. He's like,
break from the
"Fuck
dance
their
floor to go check out the glory hole or something.
What the fuck, dude? Faggot.
Oh well.
Okay. Have fun with that tribute band. I'd rather be dancing with some chicks first.
Yeah, that ain't looking at you, right?
Yeah.
Well, they were all looking at me. They're going,
By
"What the
dancing,
fuck
you
is
mean
he
hip
doing
checking
here?"
into the wall?
Yeah.
I find that's a good way to pick them up.
Oh, she was ugly.
Oh, so you were dancing with ugly chicks? Yeah, you're right.
I wasn't dancing with her, you fag. Damn. Listen to the story. Fuck.
We only do this because you're
Kevin,
not.
I now know how you feel. I apologize for all my insults.
It's
All
better.
right. Look, guys, Don was dancing by himself at the bar, and then
Yeah, there was no dance music
Well,
He
playing.
was fucking naked with a G-string. Fucking, you know, that was
when girls came up to join him, he immediately dispatched them
Yeah, he
by.
immediately hip checked them. Fuck out of here! This is my dancing space.
get the fuck
Talk
out
to
of
the
the way.
hand.
You're in my personal space.
All right, so let's go around. I was kind of hoping Anderson would eventually have gotten his children to sleep,
No, he's smart.
but
He stays out of this conversation.
he has not yet shown up. So maybe we'll get to it. We'll
What's he going to talk about? He doesn't drink.
repeat at the end. He does now, dude.
He smokes fucking.
Dude, he
everything.
drinks. He drinks. He used to drink all the time when he was in.
Right.
No, when he used to go to Flash Gordon's back in those days, and then after he did his little Oklahoma trip, that's when he gave it up for years. But then, you know, his marriage would drive anyone to drink.
Oh, God. Go
Well, to be fair, marriage will drive anyone to drink.
Oh, yes.
I've drank more this year than my whole life. Put the fucking together.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
Ugh.
So, Brian, since you're dying the most, do you happen to recall the first time you ever got drunk?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I do. Our, and it was sort of weird. We had my step family had relatives from like, I don't know, everywhere. And some like young chick was between, like my stepsister, my older stepsister was like a year older than me. And then there was me and this chick, I guess was either her age or my age or whatever. And they're like, they're going to go out and go, you know, because I guess Amy had like a boyfriend or whatever, and like a bunch of people are going to go out and they're going to go. I think it was non-specific, or I don't really remember what it was we were supposed to be doing, but for some odd reason, all of a sudden I was invited, and it's like she's like, look, we're going to go drinking, okay? So can you keep your mouth shut and you go out and have fun? And I'm like, I'm not totally retarded. Yeah, I know, keep my mouth shut because you're not the one that'll get killed. It'll be me. But yeah, sure, whatever. So we went out and we like all we did was like we parked at like right under this parking lot, and it was like I forgot whoever drove us had like a station wagon. You remember back in the day, station wagons you could fit like 50 fucking people or something, like 100 goddamn people there.
Right.
And I had like 3 beers and I was wildly drunk. In fact, that was one of the main reasons why I had to go home. There, it's like your fucking stepbrother's a dumbass. He's got to go home. He's just acting like he's really, really drunk. And my fucking stepsister's like, well, he probably is because he doesn't get out very much. He's always grounded. So, and we got caught later because that chick, that cousin of theirs or whatever, wrote in her diary that not only did she go out and get drunk for the first time, but she had sex for the first time too. And her mom was like, goes right in the room, rips open the diary, just starts reading it. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, so and we got called into the room.
Wait, you got drunk and you came home and what? Carolyn caught you and she read your diary? I'm confused.
Yours? Somebody wasn't
Totally
listening.
not even repeating any of that shit. So that was my first time getting drunk.
All right.
So who later?
Brian.
What?
Probably. Who laid that chick first time?
Who was screwing your stepsister? What?
Wasn't me.
No. Jesus Christ.
Anyway,
I know
Larry,
better.
you happen to remember the first time you got drunk, man?
Me?
No, Larry.
Me?
Yeah, Larry. I'm going by. I try to when I do.
Fuck that.
Larry?
When I
Yeah.
listen, guys,
Yeah.
when I go around, what I try to do. Sometimes I fuck this up, but what I try to do is go by who's been on the show the longest. So if Anderson was here, it would be Brian, then Anderson.
Oh, okay.
See, so it's Brian, Larry, then Don, and then I go last. So okay, go ahead.
Okay,
Well, this
okay.
changed all of a sudden.
It just helps you remember. That way, you know where you are in the order.
Okay.
Well, sure.
Don't forget otherwise.
I'm
I
fine.
was trying to think of the first time I got
That's
drunk,
evil.
and I can't. I must have been pretty young because I can't remember the first time I got drunk. I remember various high school encounters, but I can't say which is first. Sorry,
Pick
I'm
one.
lame.
When some uncle gave you, here, Larry, here's a beer, drink this.
Yeah, I mean, I had beer.
Pull down your pants. What?
I'm gonna say it was a buddy or a buddy's party when I was in high school. That's the
some
first
of
one
the
I
priest's
sort of
wine.
remember.
What are you doing?
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah. When I was an altar boy, but I didn't think that counted as being
Really?
because it was part of the is part of the celebration of the Eucharist is what we were always told.
The sacrament. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't really think that counted as being drunk. If that counts, well then I would have been like in second grade.
All right.
Larry, my son, what the hell are you doing?
You know,
Father, is it supposed to hurt like this?
I wish
We must make sacrifices for the Lord, my son.
I wish Bill Bailey was on the show because he was actually the other altar boy at the time when when Bill Gawkin threw up on the altar. That would have been an experience. I don't know. I miss that. You know you're not cut out to be an altar boy though if you're standing up at the altar and you just yak right there.
Dude, you almost fainted.
Well, dude, yes, that is true. But okay, people who don't know, you're an altar boy. We are going to have an episode about religion one day, but I'm going to tell this story now. There is a story in what the Catholics tell every year because church, when you're a Catholic, basically starts to repeat itself every year with the same stories over and over again. And there's a big long story about when Jesus goes to the well. I can't quite remember the whole thing, although I've heard it a million times. And if you started saying it to me, I would probably immediately tune out like I did when I was a kid. But I would,
Because you're the devil's son.
right?
Yeah.
But I would remember the story, and it's really long. And what happens is that there's four masses. There's four masses on a Sunday, and if you go to the noon mass, which is the biggest mass, they act it out because there's different people that talk into the microphones and act this thing out, and it's really long. Okay, it's like 15 minutes long or something. Which mass is only
really long.
well, mass is only an hour long, and like it's like 15 minutes of your mass is like. Believe me, when you're in mass, 15 minutes can seem like an eternity. And anyway, I was doing like the 10:30 mass, and instead, the one priest decided that he would just read it all himself. But in order to do that, he wanted to stand up in front of everyone, and I had to hold the book, which is a giant, heavy book. With my arms held out, holding this thing.
It's Old Testament fucking style.
It's like some sort of like stress test that they give you in the Marines. Like, hold that pail of dirt. You're like,
Don't move, pig.
And I'm just a kid too, So I mean, I already have absolutely no strength whatsoever. It's not like I've done any labor in my life. So, well, I had, but not like holding something. So anyway, I held it for about 10 minutes. And I mean, I look like one of those guys in the military. There's just sweat coming down off my face. I'm fucking dying. I'm looking at this guy like, come on, And, he's not like fucking budging. He's just, I'm like, he can tell that I'm fucking dying here,
Because priests never talk fast at all.
They just don't care about you. So I'm just like slowly, my arms are just failing, and the book is slowly like sliding down,
keep reaching down and lifting it.
He
back
did,
up.
yeah. He lifted back up and stuff to make me hold it, and then like at the third time, he just like got the other altar boy, and I got to sit down, and I'm just like covered in sweat and stuff. And my dad had brought me there. He was the only one. Thank God my stepmom wasn't there. And I
She heard all about it, dude.
I kind of looked over in the corner of my eye. My dad just kind of gave me that look like, well, what are you going to do? You know, I mean, it was like one of the cooler moments because you're so worried that he was embarrassed, you know.
Which is not the response you would have gotten from your stepmom.
Yeah, the last thing we wanted our dad to do was always like shout out, "Stand up, Kevin!"
Yeah,
loud.
Get back up.
Jesus Christ! My dad yelled at people at church before. Man, that was embarrassing shit.
Yeah.
Say like, God damn it! Oh wait.
Okay, so Cease, what you know the first time you got drunk?
All right. Well, Kevin remembers my mom. All right. She used to drink herself into a fucking oblivion. And she'd always have these gallons of fucking rum in the house. And she'd go through it in a week. A fucking gallon in a week, right? So my sister and I were like sitting there sick of her doing this shit. So we decided to start drinking some of this. Just to see what it was like. And we took a good chunk out of this shit. And we were fucking... and filled the rest back up with water and sat there. And we were so fucking trashed that the parents came home. We're fucking like singing in the bathroom and shit. And they're like, "Oh shit, they're here!" And fucking, it was just stupid. That's all I remember, you know. Yeah. But it's because I was like fucking, I don't know, 10 or something. That was the first time. Kind of lame.
Oh my god! I'll be right back. I turn the TV behind me. It's playing the fucking Spanish kids all screaming. Hold on.
All right.
But that was our idea of trying to get our mom to stop drinking. But, you know, obviously it didn't work, and we didn't get caught either, so, yeah.
Don's parents were actually, like, compared to my parents, Don's parents were pretty cool. But, you know, it was...
you didn't live with them.
Well, I mean, you know, they at least, took us to a Jug Lake and stuff like that. Like, that's the kind of stuff that just never happened in my fucking house. But sometime I would go over Don's house and stuff, and like there'd be like a full bottle of like Gallo wine sitting there, and then we'd like go out to a movie and come back and it'd be empty, and we just kind of look at each other and we'd be like,
"Oh God, here we go."
I mean, basically, right.
The only good thing is my mom was really nice at that time, so we like get money from her.
Yeah,
go play video games and shit.
The next morning, you had to worry about at Don's house because his dad was like Mr. Super Physical Labor, and like literally, I spent the night at his house one time, and we were like up late watching movies, and his dad woke us up. It must have been about 7 a.m., 6 or 7 a.m., and he had like gotten. I mean, nobody knew this was happening, mind you. Okay, we didn't know. We were like up late watching horror movies. Just imagine this, and you get like a yell to get up, and you go outside, and there's a giant wood chipper, and he's just like, "Start grabbing branches and shit." And we were just like fucking running around his yard, like collecting logs, like out of nowhere, you know, just like things all loud.
This fucking thing was loud as shit, and then he leaves us there to do the fucking work.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then we got yelled at because after that we went fishing, and we came back, and he was like yelling at us because, I don't know, we didn't do enough or something. It was fucked up. Yeah, lived in a very stressful household. Don did, because you never knew when, I don't know, you'd have to like build a dam or something. It was fucking crazy. All right, so I think the first time I got drunk, I drank here and there because, you know, you go over a relative's house and stuff, and they're like, "Here, have some wine at Thanksgiving and stuff." And, you know, you get like a thimble full of wine, and you're like, "Oh, thank you. It doesn't even really taste that good." And, of course, I went to church, and I had wine, which I know it's supposed to be blood, but it doesn't taste like blood. It tastes like wine. And, you know, just like when you get the host, it's supposed to taste like human flesh. It doesn't. It tastes like unleavened bread. So, whatever. I'm sorry.
I don't think they're looking for, you know, transubstantiation on that sort of level. I don't know that it's supposed to have the taste and feel.
Is it?
It's also I don't think you're actually supposed to be like, "Oh shit, that's really salty." I think that's actual human blood.
I think I failed at being a Catholic.
A piece of arm there.
I think if you're like a serious Catholic, maybe it does taste that way. You know, because you know, my sisters, their lips would be all red and stuff, and they'd be like, "I tasted the blood" and stuff, and I'd be like, "Really? Why?"
They're fucking crazy.
Okay, Jedi, write us and let us know if it actually tastes like blood and human flesh.
He's not Catholic. See, that only works that's only Catholics.
Nuts.
I don't know. Yeah, and the human flesh part, it's strange. So anyway, Brian got out of the Navy, and he lived with my mom for a little while, and I had moved back to Cleveland. And Brian eventually came back, and shortly thereafter, the drinking began. And that was back when they were selling Michelob Dark. And Brian would buy the Michelob Dark, and we went to the woods behind Spruce School, and with a bunch of friends. And when you're a kid, like I was about 14 then. You just drink beer like it's Kool-Aid the first time. You're just like, hey, look at beer. Oh, blub, 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 blub. And it's down and stuff. You're like, give me another one. If you're like, you're really going to, fuck it, here you go. And you're just like, cool. So before you know it, you've drank in like 8 beers and shit, and you're just, then like the second part of the beer drinking begins. You don't realize that unlike every other beverage you've ever had in your life, that just drinking it down is only the beginning. It's only the first stage of what's going to happen. So needless to say, I threw up all over myself, and it didn't really swear me off from learning a lesson. I pretty much went drinking with him again like 3 or 4 more times, and then it just kind of mellowed out. It was one of those things where you just kind of got over it. We drank Little Kings one time, Mickey's Big Mouth. What's that shit. Glass line can shit? It's like Keystone.
Oh, yeah.
God, I hate that.
Keystone. Then Brian just started getting like the shittiest beer he could get that was cheap.
Jesus Christ.
Black Label or something. I don't know.
Dude, I just got whatever the fuck I get,
Just, whatever was.
Got the Navy was like I was 21. I was fucking like 19. I was still not allowed to fucking buy any goddamn beer, so.
Yeah, when you go through like an effort to get somebody to buy you beer, you would think you would get them to buy you something at least halfway decent, but it was
no, dude, because I didn't think you got money.
It was always something nasty. But I was always into like drinking like the Little Kings and stuff because they were in small bottles, so you felt better when you drank like 10 of them. You're like, ooh.
They'll fuck you up, though.
Yeah, no, they will, right. And, so we drank those and, for a while. But then, whatever, I got a girlfriend and shit, and it's not like I could bring her home trash. Right? So, that was the first time. Anyway, still no Anderson. I guess the kids are active tonight. Probably dancing around him as he's tied to a cauldron and shit. Okay. Brian, do you happen to know, or at least can think of, a worst drinking moment?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Aren't they all?
Well, definitely. I know, you got into the fight the one time, which, was
that didn't help. Yeah, that's it. I think that capped it. The worst drinking moment is I was at Brewer's fucking party. Jason Brewer used to have parties where his parents would go out of town, and like everybody, and I do mean everybody, would just show up there, and it was like a week-long bash. And, I don't exactly remember what was happening because at that point I was completely smashed. But some sort of a fight was breaking out, and it went out into the front of his place. And, of course, Dan James started the whole fucking thing, But he was trying to get into a fight with, like, shooting his mouth off at Eric Butero, and Eric Butero's not a guy you shoot your mouth off at lightly because the dude was fucking huge, And it went from... Like,
Brian, you're kind of eating your mic a little bit. Can you move your mic away from your mouth just a little bit?
Oh, yeah, okay. It looked like the fight was about to end, and then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened, but Dan got the fight going. He shut his mouth off, and then I don't know, somebody hit me, and then that's all I remember is just me fighting like 8 dudes because all my friends are so brave. They start fighting, so they run the fuck away, and I'm left to fucking like deal with the bullshit afterwards. So I was just like. Moments later, I'm laying in a pool of my own blood. Like,
yeah, something happened where, like...
I don't remember it all that well. All I do know is I woke up the next day and I'm, like, all fucked up.
It was just a carload of jocks showed up.
You okay? It's like, yeah, I guess so, dude. Wow.
Brian got knocked out when he had, like, 6 kids or something beating him down in the middle of the street.
6, it was 8.
Oh, whatever. Like, you remember. Brian was taking kids down. He was putting knees to faces and stuff. And
I don't know about that.
He was getting
his face to somebody's knees.
Yeah, and there were a few people like fighting on like our side, and there was just a whole bunch of jocks. It was just a weird situation, and a couple of girls got punched out.
They needed it though.
It was just It was just
crack.
yeah, basically, yeah. Stretch was there, and she was saying stuff, and I think Butera punched her in the face, and she fell backwards, and then Jason Warner was going around beating up the jocks, and Hackadakis was laying people. I think that's who took Brian down. He got hit by Hackadakis, and that just,
Fist of Steel.
That just dropped him. And I think one guy went to get his gun, and Bob Suhar came out with a handful of knives, or was that Dale?
No, Dale came out with a handful of knives.
Yeah.
Bob was like standing there with a sort of, that shocky look that people get when they're in fights. They don't want to be in fights, But anybody that like attacked him, he'd fight. At least he fought back. Mostly everybody else just ran away, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, all the hardcore stayed inside and looked from outside the window. Wow, Brian's getting fucked up,
Yeah.
And
all the guys that would normally have been there and would have just helped kick ass weren't there. I'm just like, oh god.
Yeah. And
it was not a fucking pleasant scene.
Brian, I saw him the next day, and I've seen Brian pretty fucked up before, but that's probably the most I've seen it. Yeah, there's some pretty big lumps on him, pretty swollen and everything. So
yeah, I was beat up.
It's probably not a good time to be drinking. Larry, do you have a worst drinking moment?
I mean,
Mary the next day.
I don't really remember the worst.
Well, the easy one would be to say my DUI, because it fucked me for months and months thereafter.
Driving drunk will do that.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Do you want to you want to describe what happened? Were you out just on a regular night drinking, and then you just
no, actually it was after a previous cancer benefit. I was at the Fantasy, and
which is why we didn't have it in the same time we normally have it in, because they were waiting.
Yeah,
they knew he was coming back.
I had a bit much to drink, and I remember leaving the place. I remember driving around. I was on the phone with somebody, and I don't even remember who I was talking to. I was on the phone talking to somebody. Said, "Yeah, I'm going to have to call you back," not realizing it was like 2:30 in the morning. Because I had to pull my car over so I could lean out and puke all over the street. And I was like, no, I'm probably fine to drive home now. So I made that brilliant choice to drive home, and unfortunately there's really not much of a story after that. I was driving down the highway and saw the cop lights in my rearview mirror, and the rest has been chronicled here repeatedly on the show.
Well, is that the one where you dropped the beer can out of your coat? Is that the one?
oh yeah. When he, that was good. I did forget about that. See, I'm glad you're here to remind me. Yes, he did. Could you step out of the car, please? Because he wanted to give me the field sobriety test and all that. And yeah, I got up. I stood up and another beer can fell out of my coat pocket. Oh, God. And
he just gave up at that point.
You're like, look, just put me in the back.
He was like, do you have any more of those? And I said, actually, yeah. And I pulled one out of my other pocket and handed it to him. So,
oh God, I wish I could see that shit.
So yeah, then we did the breathalyzer, which I butchered.
What was it?
Oh, what was that? It actually wasn't that bad. I was surprised because I felt loopy, right?
1-2 or something.
I think I was like a 136 or something like that.
Or 130.
So I mean, I've certainly been in worse shape because I don't know if I would count it as a worst time drinking, but there was a previous birthday bash where I remember leaving. I remember going up to the 1BP because they had a Subway there and it was open 24 hours, so I could get some Subway because I had like drunken munchies. And I pulled out of the BP, is the one over on 150th by 71. And at the time, I was living over on the east side in Maple Heights. I was like, okay, I'm going to go up, and not that this will make sense to most of the people listening, but at least for you guys. I was going to go up to Triscuit, pick up 90, and take it over. I remember pulling out onto 150th, and then I remember the cop tapping on my window to wake me up. And
classic.
I rolled down the window, and I had parked myself on some side street, and I don't know why. I don't know who was smiling down on me from the heavens, but the cop let me take the keys out and sleep it off where I was.
Wow. Did you eat your Subway?
I didn't know yet at that point. I took my keys out. Cop, told me, he's like, we're gonna be driving past here for the rest of the shift. If your car is not here at any point, I've got the plates and you're done. I was like, I'll be here. Next morning, I woke up, saw half of my sub sandwich sitting on the passenger seat next to me. Got my keys, and I'll tell you what. I had parked, I had parallel parked right on the street.
Whoa.
That's it. Time's up.
Shit. Oh, okay, we lost Larry. All right. Well, we'll get him back when he resurfaces. Don, do you have a worst drinking moment?
Yes, and as of course you were there. It's when we lived together over in fucking Broadview Heights, and we had a little party going there, and you had brought home, I think it was you that brought over some Goldenschlager. Was that you, or was that
a bottle of Goldschlager and a bottle of
Jägermeister?
Jägermeister. Yeah, that was
my fucking God. I had 8 shots of each, and I don't know why the fuck I did it. Other than the fact that fucking Jason was there saying, "You got to do this." I'm like, all right,
you guys had that big football stand-up. Like, I don't know who it was yours or something. It was like a football player. And
I have no idea what the hell it was. I think we just stole it or something.
Yeah, you guys were like playing like tackle football in the middle of the living room with it or something.
Oh,
and I was like sitting there going, wow, these guys are fucking annihilated. Yeah.
I was fucking. Isn't it the same night he went out there and punched a fucking light post?
He punched his knuckles. Yeah, this dude, Jason, when he was having. He brought a girl over that he wasn't even dating, and she liked his buddy Mario. So he then went outside with them and punched a telephone pole with his hand and broke some fingers in his hand just because he was angry.
Well, while that was going on, I was already laying on the fucking bathroom floor sleeping. So the only thing I remember basically is waking up, somebody was peeing over me. I mean, I look up and go, God damn, you're peeing over me. And I rolled over to the other side of the bathroom floor. And then about 4 in the morning, Kevin comes in there and kicks me in the ribs, like, gonna get up? You gonna go to bed now? I'm like, what? And I had to fucking crawl. Literally crawl. I was dry heaving for fucking hours. I think I saw something I ate 3 days beforehand. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this. I'm gonna die,
Was that the next morning when you had the Cherokee Red Pop in the car?
Yeah, that's the same next morning. I fucking had to drive him to work. And actually, he was driving himself. I had to drive myself back. But he's like, hey, you're doing pretty good this morning. And as soon as he said that, I'm like, in the front seat of my car. He's like, oh, God damn it. Drop him off downtown. Coming back on 71. Funny, I had to fucking pull over and harf again on the fucking highway. Fuck, man, that was bad. Fucking bad.
People just driving by, you're like hanging out your car and shit, throwing up.
Dude, I've never been that sick, ever.
The Corbett story still cracks you about throwing up, though, in the car because he had too many vitamins or something.
Oh, yeah, because he took vitamins on an empty stomach, and then he got that sick feeling like he was going to throw up. So he grabbed he had a bag, like a plastic bag on the side of the car, and he picked it up, and he just he's driving, and he's like, into the bag, and the bag is getting all big. It's blowing up, and he's just yakking it while he's driving. That's awesome.
What else you gonna do?
So, Larry, did you have anything else that
sub sandwich.
Yeah, I had my half-eaten sub sandwich. Looked around, realized that I had parallel parked myself on the side of the road. And I will gladly admit I can't parallel park for shit. And this is back when I had my Durango, and I wouldn't usually even try to park that unless I had half a city block because I suck at it. This was the best job of parallel parking I had ever done in my whole life. I was like, wow, this is awesome. So I get my keys. I turn my car around to get back out to the road so I can get on the highway and head home. I pull up to the intersection, and the intersection doesn't look familiar to me. I'm looking around, I'm like, how far down Triscuit did I go? And I look up at the street sign, and I was on like East 49th and Harvard. Which, if you don't know the area, that's like Harlem. That is not a place a white man wants to sleep in his car while he's drunk.
That's probably why the cops are called. Hey, there's a whitey in my neighborhood. What the fuck?
Well, I think that's why the cops let me go. I don't want to do the paperwork. Let's just let him sleep here and let the guys in homicide handle it in the morning.
Yeah. Okay. We got Anderson on. Let's catch
we
you.
do.
Yeah. Let's catch you up. Since you're only missing 2 questions.
Everybody's been drinking.
What'd you do yesterday, Anderson?
What did I do yesterday? I worked until 1 o'clock in the morning. Then I went to this dude's house who had a party, and I got home about 4:30 in the morning. So it was a quick party, but there was a lot of partying going on during that little part of partying because you got to catch up when you get there late.
Right.
And then I came home and I said, you know what? I said, F you, Tiger Woods. I'm going to beat you. And I stayed up till 5 o'clock in the morning, roughly, very roughly. And I played Tiger Woods and I passed out. And then next thing I know, the ex-wife's knocking on the door, yelling in the window, hello, are you in there? I've got the children. And I'm screaming, leave me alone. Go away.
Don doesn't live here anymore.
Yeah, I don't live here.
So, do you remember the first time you ever got drunk?
Yes.
Can you tell us about it?
Oh, would you love to? I'd love to tell the story. That's because it was with Clay Mueller, who anybody who's listened to the show has probably never even heard this dude's name, but that's the kid that I grew up with before like getting into high school and stuff. I met him in kindergarten and we hung out until the start of high school, and then he started hanging out with people I didn't like, and I started hanging out with people he didn't like. So we just kind of like it was like that. Yeah, we grew up together, and you'd always like give each other nods and stuff when you saw each other in the hallway, but you never were like, "Hey, what are you doing Friday?" But he had this whole master thing of going around and getting people drunk for the first time. So he asked me to do it. I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll do it." And what he did is he'd go up into the attic into his dad's liquor collection and take like back in the day when we had like the old 12-ounce glass bottles of pop. Remember how they used to be smaller and they used to all be made out of glass and stuff?
Yeah.
Anybody? Right, okay. And then he would just like pour shots of this into this bottle, pour a shot of this into this bottle, pour a shot of this into the bottle. And he called it nuclear devastation. And then...
Oh, yeah, I remember that shit.
And you drink it. It was red. And you drink it. And... you get drunk. I was butt ass wasted. It was he gave it. I used to in North Olmsted where Stearns and Lorraine Road is, that little strip mall right there. That's where I drank it. We drove to the mall, got to the commons of the mall, and I'm like, okay, guys, I don't know what the whole big deal is. I don't know what's, blah, 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 blah. I opened the door, set foot on the ground, stepped out of the car, and everything just went, whoa. And I was just like, whoa, what just happened? And next thing you know, and then I just got stupid after that. I'm in the commons, like, screaming at people, hey, I'm drunk. You're like 15, 16 or whatever. You don't care. You're just like, hey, look at me. You're standing in line at Wendy's like, give me the biggest pop you got. Screaming at him. And then, like, his sister was working at Sears, and he was like, come on, I gotta go find out about a key or whatever. She used to do the keys at the booth at Sears. And we went walking over, and I'm like, hey, what's up, Heather? She's like, what's wrong with him? Because I knew her all my life, too, because I was hanging out with him and stuff. And it was, I don't remember... I don't remember much after that. I remember, that was powerful stuff. And for like the first time ever, I really don't know what happened. I know I got drunk and I was loud, obnoxious, I was crazy. And I really don't remember how that night ended.
Yeah.
You're alive, that's all that matters.
I'm racking my brain. But then again, that was just the beginning of, what's to come.
So Can you now? This is the only other question you missed. Do you know your worst drinking moment or a worst drinking moment that ever happened to you?
Well, obviously that involves puking. I would say I don't know. I mean, it's either one or two. It's either when I woke up in my bed and there was like a pool of vomit in my blanket, and I was like I had my face laying in it, and basically what happened was I was waking up to go to school because that's how hard we used to drink when we were in high school, because we drank during the week, we didn't care, and it was either that one where I woke up with this vomit all over me, walked into the bathroom, just like washed it off, got dressed, and went to school. And I was just kind of like, that's kind of sad, man, when you're just like waking up in your own vomit and just wiping yourself off and going to your
Going about your day.
Yeah, you're just going to your junior science class, or whatever it was.
Day you went.
It's either that one or it was. Now I can't remember what I was going to say. Yeah.
All right. Well, if it comes to you,
Yeah.
Mine. It's one of two. There was a big party that was being announced called the Christine Applegate Party.
I was going to
Oh,
mention
jeez,
that.
here we go.
Christine Applegate, nothing to do with it. I don't know why it was named after her.
She was hot.
Yeah, she was on Married with Children at the time, and everybody kind of knew about this party, and but nobody knew like where it was or anything, and it just so happened to work in our favor that was a weekend we were going to go do something. So I had Brian buy me the largest bottle of Jack Daniels ever.
I remember that bottle.
It was just the largest bottle.
It was big as fuck. I remember that.
And so
I don't want that. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. All right.
Well, Brian always had something like I'd get the big bottle, and Brian would buy himself like one of those flask bottles. Which if I would have been a normal person, I would have just got myself something small like that too. But when you're an idiot kid, bigger's better.
I just put it in big lips around that fucker thing.
So we go to this party, and it's like a big house, and there's no furniture in the house. It's just a TV,
one couch
with the Tyson fight on, and nothing else. And it was like sardine people, wall to wall, and
at least 200. At least.
And in the basement, there was a ton of people that we knew too that were all crammed in there, and basically everybody saw my giant bottle of whiskey, and they were like, "Can I have a drink?" So every time they would have a drink, I'd have a drink. And not that I am, listen, I am, even today I probably couldn't handle it. But this is back then. I certainly couldn't handle my liquor.
God, I had to fucking drag
Big lips.
All right, but look, Cease was no better. Cease was fucked up too. And so was a lot of other people we were with. And the cops show up. And they're like, everybody out, right? So everybody just starts fleeing because basically somebody goes, "It's the cops," and everyone's like, "Woo!" Everybody's taking off. And I get into the car with Cease, and he's driving his dad's truck. And basically, Don backed up into somebody else's car with in front of a cop.
right in front of the fucking car.
So I'm like, Don's like, "Fuck, goddamn," So then
I took his fucking bottle and I stick in a fucking umbrella behind the seat. Just before the cop comes, because the lights just come on as soon as I hit the car, and I'm like, "Oh fuck, give me that," shove it back there.
He hides the bottle, and he goes back into the police car, and I'm talking to myself and shit. I'm just sitting in the car, and I'm just like, I was like, I can't even remember anymore what I was saying, but I know I was just babbling shit to myself. And another cop walks up and shines his flashlight into the car. And he's like,
that's always the worst.
He's like, "Who are you?" And immediately though, I was sober. Like it was like an immediate moment of authority had arrived, and I was like, Kevin Baird, and he's like, "Where's the owner of this vehicle?" Well, he's in the police car back there. I mean, luckily he didn't try to quiz me or something like, "What's 7 times 9?" or something. I would have been like, "I don't know," So, so he's like, "All right." So he walks away. And Cease, what'd you get? Just a ticket?
Yeah, I got a ticket for hitting their car or whatever. I don't even know what the hell they call it.
Yeah,
fuck up ticket.
That probably didn't even matter. It was more because he put in like I don't know what her car looked like, but Don did like the slightest. I think it was a tiny mark or something on the bumper, which his dad, when he did eventually show it to his dad, like his dad detonated. Like, just completely freaked out on him. I think it was the last time you were allowed to drive.
No. Actually, it was the exact opposite, dude.
Oh, maybe because you were telling me
they were going to fucking kill me.
Yeah, that's
and they're like, don't worry about it. I'm like, who the fuck are you people? I'm like,
maybe you were.
Okay,
you were
and then they gave me the keys to go the next
night. All right. So, we went out. Like, we left there, and then we went to a Burger King or something. And
oh, my God, that's so bad.
I don't quite remember anything that happened. Don told me that I was yelling at a cop that was there.
Oh, no. We get there. You're like, I got to eat. And you're, like, slapping me in the arm. With that fucking rubbery arm because you're so drunk. Like, I got to eat. Smack. I'm like, all right, fine. Let's just fucking go to Burger King, Was
he giving you the drunk Kevin Baird face?
Yeah, whatever. That
all three of them.
That slanty-eyed fucking look. Right. And he's like, God damn it. He's like poking me and shit. I'm like, all right. And so we get in the fucking parking lot. And I park. I'm like, are we going in? He's like, hold on a minute. And he fucking opens my door. And he fucking just starts hurling. Right in the fucking parking lot. I'm like, Jesus
I do remember that. People were like over there looking, and you're like, come on. Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There was a lot of fucking, there was like a bunch of teenage chicks walking by laughing and shit. I'm like, yeah, he's fucked up now, It's fucked up.
What else can you do?
We get inside finally after you're done hurling, and there's this rent-a-cop sitting there. And you're like, you're nothing but a fucking rent-a-pig. And you start pointing at him, like, you're nothing. But I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up. You're going to get fucking bitch slapped, Yeah, fucking pig, I'm like, dude, he's just drunk, don't worry about it, So he gets you something to fucking eat and set you down. And I don't know who was there. I can't. Some people knew you, and they're like trying to talk to you, and your head was like all over the place. You're like, saying all this loud shit. I don't remember any of it, I'm like, oh God. I was like, we were there for like a half an hour. And I'm like, finally, I'm like, dude, we got to get you out of here. Fuck it. And then fucking basically carry your ass out of that place. Stick you back in the truck, and then we went back to your house from there.
Yeah, he carries me up the stairs, and my dad opens up the door, and he's like, he goes, what, did he get into a fight? And Don goes, no, he's just drunk. And then my dad's just like, oh, okay. I'll just put him on the couch here and stuff.
Like it's nothing.
Yeah, totally. He gets me a puke bucket, and then he talks to Cease, I guess, the rest of the night. Cease is all worried about going home because his dad's going to kill him and stuff. But I guess it didn't happen.
I was fucking worried. God damn. But I totally looked at that cop. Looked behind the fucking behind the seat where that bottle was, but he didn't see because it was in that fucking umbrella. I was shitting myself. I don't know how the hell I sounded any bit of sober at all.
I know. I'm amazed that you didn't get tested.
Oh, dude, I was so ripped.
It's unbelievable, considering we were at a massive drinking party, and the whole car probably reeked of alcohol. Somehow, that dude, Don got lucky. That's the only way to say it. And
if that's the only luck I ever have, I'll deal with it.
That was probably definitely the worst. I mean, when I left Stouffer's, all the cooks took me out drinking, and I only drank for about maybe 30 minutes because they kept giving me shots of Firewater and Jaeger, and I was drinking beers and stuff, and literally in 30 minutes I drank way too much, and I was like, I got to go to the bathroom, and I didn't have to puke or nothing, but I heard everybody go, he's going down, and I was like, what? Oh, okay. And as soon as I got to the bathroom, though, yeah, I mean, it was just ugly, and just tossing chunks into the toilet, and I ended up hugging the toilet all night, and there was a hobo in there at one point, and he was asking me for money. He was he's like, you got $1? You have $1? And I was like, no, get away from me, fuck you, And then the guy that runs the bar came in the room, and he was or in the bathroom, and he was all like, we got to get this guy out of here and stuff. And the other cooks were like, no, it's all right, we'll take care of him and stuff. And he's like, yeah, but he's throwing up all over the floor. And then they're telling me, if you're gonna throw up in the toilet, dude, and stuff. So it was about 2:30 in the morning, and my friend Dan Rossi pulled up in his probe. And he had taken a bunch of plastic bags and like worked them all over his car, so his whole car on the one side was covered in plastic in case I threw up in his car, and he drove me all the way home and shit. So I think like physically that was when I was like I was really because I mean, you know, I was there all night hugging a toilet in downtown Cleveland. You know, even when I was when I was with Cease, it wasn't that bad. So okay. Anybody else got any memories of anything else they want to bring up? No. Worst moments or anything? Okay, just asking.
Remember that party I had on a Sunday afternoon?
No, but I'm sure there was one.
That was my other moment that I was trying to remember, was when I had that party on a Sunday. My parents left at like 10 o'clock in the morning, and then everybody started showing up at noon. Everybody drank. We drank all night long. We drove around, drank. And then me and Burnett stayed up all night long, and we were like, hey, we've got a great idea. Let's go to school. Because, like, you know, it was a school day.
Right. Were you the guy fighting Burnett in the woods?
Fighting Burnett in the woods?
At Spruce? Oh, no, that was Dave Bates.
Yeah, no, I didn't. No. I didn't fight anybody.
No, they were like, you want to just fight for fun because they were drunk.
Oh, that's always Bates. He was always.
And then they just, like, fought, and they, like, fell into the creek, and they were just beating each other up. Yeah, I know. I fought Bates in karate outside my house.
Bates would just come up and punch you. He'd just be like, hey, what's up? Hey, you want to punch me? He'd be like, no. Like, smack you. You're like, what'd you do that for? He's like, nah, do you want to punch me? Go ahead, punch me. Don, destroy his car.
This is completely not related to this topic, but I keep meaning to ask you this, and I keep forgetting. Can you tell the story about the kid that you worked with that liked sabotage, and then he went home and like tried to kill his parents? Do you remember that story?
What?
I don't know if he... did he say he liked sabotage?
Well, you were getting him into sabotage, and then, like, I guess he took a wire and tried to kill...
The phone cord.
Yeah,
this dude was all tripped out. This guy was... Talk about... Oh, wait, I haven't talked about acid yet, but talk about acid. This dude was on it all the time.
Acid's another show, man.
And he was working... I worked with him at the pizza place, obviously. Well, not obviously, but where else is an acid head going to work at a pizza place? So I guess he quit or whatever, and then the one driver that I worked with came in with an article in the newspaper about this guy assaulting his parents. He tried to murder his parents right there in North Ridgeville in the swamps. He came up behind. I guess his dad was sitting at the computer. He came up behind him with a phone cord and wrapped it around his throat and started strangling him. And he's like,
all weak and shit, and the fucking dad just stands. I was like, come on, knock it off.
And he's all like whispering in his ear, like, I'm doing this because I love you. I need to do this. You need to die, or something like that. And then, like, his mom tried to come in through the door. She's like, what's going on in here? And he, like, you know, he's got his dad with the phone cord, and he, like, lifts his foot up and slams the door, and his mom's halfway in the door, whatever, and he's got her pinned there, stuck in the door and stuff. He's like, you gotta die, or what? I don't know what he was doing. He was freaking out. He's like, I gotta kill you because I love you. It was, the dude was, and then I never saw him again, and then he actually, like, towards the end of the time that I was at Marco's, he showed back up again. And he was like, I got a job. And I was like, holy shit, that's Scott. Don't hire him. Don't hire him. They're like, it's too late. We already did. I was like, oh, okay, well, it doesn't matter. I'm leaving anyways. Wow. But yeah, that was kind of messed up.
All right, good. That's cool. I wanted to share that with everybody because it's one of the craziest stories I've heard in my life, and bizarre.
Me and him used to drive around. We used to smoke weed and jam tunes and stuff. He used to tell me stories. He's like, I'm writing this novel about a guy who travels around space, and his car is a drum set. So as he plays the drums, the car can go faster. And it's just like, okay, whatever, man. He was trying to explain this whole thing to me. Like, dude plays his drums, and his drum set flies, and he goes through space, and whatever.
We're just telling you listen to anything.
Right.
Don, considering the people you drive around in your car, there's probably been so many strange stories that have come out of people's mouths that...
I'm going to start doing... I think I'm going to start doing my... which one?
The dog one is the fucking funniest thing.
Oh, yeah.
With Clint? What do you do? What's it on the tribute? Right in the what do I say in the beginning of the tribute show? What do you do when you see a dog dying? Kill it.
See a dog half dead in the middle of the road? Kill it.
Just kill it. Yeah. No, I think I'm gonna start my own show. And I'm just gonna tell all my stories from when I was young. That'd be great.
That can just be your interlude show. You can just think of a story to tell people between
Right.
sports.
Oh, the Don and Don show, which
Right.
was a huge bomb last week.
So, people asked, people who don't know, if you listen to the show live, when this show ends, there's about a 15 to 20 minute gap between this show and when we start doing sports. And now Don and Don have a little interlude show, and it's only for
We'll
the
talk about absolute nothing.
it's only for the live listeners.
Well, right. It started out as me, but then as I came back on the thing, I was like, okay, who's out there? And all of a sudden it was, hey, what's going on? I was like, whoa, Don, where'd you come from? And then like him and I started talking, and then all of a sudden you just hear Jedi in the background, hee hee hee. It's
Yeah,
like, whoa,
no,
where'd
like,
you come
damn,
from?
what the fuck you at?
So that show, because we're exporting the WAV file from Audacity during this time, the Don and Don show is not recorded. So the only way you'll ever be able to listen to it is if you listen live and you stay up to get through the show before it gets shut off or whatever. Your parents come in and tell you to go to bed.
Yeah.
Okay, so Brian, if you're still awake,
Yeah.
have you ever passed out while drinking? And I don't mean fall asleep. I mean like you drank and then you just blacked out.
No. I have memory gaps, but I was like I know what's going on then. I may not really understand it, but I don't really black out. It's just that the next morning I have a hard time remembering shit straight off. And then like by evening, I'm calling people going, dude, I'm sorry. I didn't know I was going to do that.
Sorry about
You're
that.
an asshole.
Tom, sorry about your couch.
Have you ever fallen asleep and had people draw like kiss makeup on you or anything because you were so
I
fucked
got
up?
very lucky with that. No,
Yeah.
nobody's ever drawn anything on me.
Plus, nobody wanted you to wake up while they were doing it.
Yeah, there would be that.
Yeah, it's always awkward.
And if
we
you
did that to Suhar though, that was great. We fucking covered him completely. He passed out. We covered him completely in beer cans and bottles. Put a lit cigarette, with the butt, not the burning end, up his nose, and videotaped him smoking. You see like the embers suddenly just like glow. And he's back out. And we woke up, I'm like, dude, before we go, we got this thing we want to show. He's like, what is it? And then we showed him. He's just like, you guys are assholes.
Fucking dick.
That's
was
awesome. Anderson, have you ever passed out?
Oh yeah, a couple times. I've passed out a couple times, but it was very seldom. That was before we started the writing on people, because I pretty much helped start the let's write on people as they pass out. So I never got drunk enough to pass out because I always liked writing on people. But yeah, there was a couple times where like you know how they got those staircases that go up about 8 steps, and then there's that little landing, and then it goes in a different direction. You know what I mean?
Where are you talking about?
Yeah.
Where?
Yeah.
Stairway, anybody.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah.
If I have to call out a name, then we're gonna have trouble.
Yeah, right.
Larry, do you know of staircases?
Yes, I've seen those.
No,
Incorrect, Brian.
I just thought you were talking about like a place. Like, all right.
No, I'm just saying. Yeah, I've fallen asleep like on that little landing. Woke up on the little landing, but like look around and be like, "Where the hell am I?" And pass back out. Woke up being taped.
You're not in immediate danger. You're like, yeah, fuck it.
Right. Woke up on a fold out bed, getting duct taped to it, with mole next to me.
Oh my god.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember that.
They were duct taping you to the bed. What?
They were they were duct taping us to the bed.
Wow.
It was at Packard's party. It was one of Packard's parties. So right. I've watched it. I've watched a lot of people pass out. I watched Kevin Rom pass out. I got a picture on my MySpace that Kevin Rom passed out in a lawn chair. We took his socks and shoes off, and we lit a cigarette and put it between his toes. And we were taking pictures. We were all taking turns smoking the cigarette out of his foot, and then we'd like take pictures of it and stuff. Put the shoe in his hand. He's like holding the shoe. Got the sock over his face. Doesn't even know. He was done.
Since you're in the unique position of being a singer in a band, have you ever performed drunk?
Totally.
Really?
Totally. Worst
Have you
night of
ever
my
performed sober?
life. Once, I think. Dude, we used to play at Flashes all the time, and Debbie used to live right down the street. That's all we would do is just get beers, go to Debbie's house, go down for load in and sound check, then go back to Debbie's house, drink until we can go back on. It was insane. Just sick. Just sick, I tell you. But yeah, I went on drunk. Me and George got wasted in the parking lot of Flashes one night. drank like a 6-pack each. Then we went on stage. I started a riot with some dude from, what band was that? There was a death metal band, and I can't remember their name right now. I'll remember later, but they were like mocking us because we weren't as heavy as they were.
I remember that. Yeah, we beat the shit out of them.
And then I was like, you guys, I went off. There was no videotapes, there's no audio tapes, there's no nothing, but I went off. I was like, you motherfucking cocksucker, fuck you. Get up here. I'm like, get in the pit. I turned around and looked at everybody. I was like, we're playing Die a Violent Death now. And everybody's like, we're not supposed to play that song. I'm like, we're playing it now. This dude needs to die. And then like everybody in the crowd they just ripped this dude up.
You wasted him, dude.
Elbows, fists. People were just picking him up and throwing him. That big Dan dude was just like crushing him. And then even then, after that, I was roadieing for Pantera at Flashes, and he came in and was like, "There you are, dude. I've been looking all over for you." And I'm like, "What? What do you want?" You know? And he's like, "Dude, I'm standing in line. I'm minding my own business. I'm hanging with my friends. All your buddies are outside. They're fucking throwing rocks at me. They're calling me faggot. They're doing all this stuff." You know?
Once the dogs got sucking on you, man, you couldn't call them off. That was out of your control.
Right. And then that's what he was like, "Can you do something about it?" And I was like, "I can't do shit, dude. You're out of luck." he's like, "You can't tell him to," he's like, "Come on, man. I didn't mean it. I thought, we could be cool. Everything would be," and I was like, "No, you know what? I can go tell them." And I said, "You can come with me. I'll go tell them." But that doesn't mean shit. They're not going to listen. They don't give a shit what I say. They just know that they don't like you. I'm sorry. It's just the way it is. You're going to have to deal with it.
Last night at that concert club, Surrey was actually at that show.
Oh, yeah, from Walgreens.
Yeah, Oz told me. I didn't even... He goes, you remember her? She used to work at Walgreens, and I was like, which one?
I remember, yeah.
And
the chick you were so impressed with because
like,
she thought
Surrey.
overkill was for children.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know.
She was actually one of the performers at one of the Soprano Brothers bachelor parties.
Really?
She was?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I met her when she was working at
No.
the Hustler Club.
Really?
No.
I don't remember looking at that.
Can't be the same chick. Cannot be.
Absolutely.
Surrey. She's got a big tattoo on her belly button.
Big, giant tattoos everywhere.
And she was at your bachelor party?
Not mine.
Oh, okay. All right. Because I was at your bachelor party, and I'm like, she wasn't there. All right. Okay.
No, Rob from the Soprano Brothers. His bachelor party.
Okay, all right.
Because they knew I frequented those establishments and could handle the entertainment, and I was hanging out with her at the time because she was also... She tended bar at House of Blues and could hook me up with free tickets a lot.
All I know is that she got us a lot of free shit. And
her and Susie Mighton.
Yeah. So, okay. Let me see. Cease, do you have any pass out stories?
No, you know what? I remember every single thing up to the point where I'm like, I just got to get some sleep. So I don't know if it's really a pass out because I can't, But I've slept in some weird places, like on a fucking grassy hill in New York.
I think what it matters. I think what it is, dude, is it's like, have you woken up and not remembered how you got there?
You got there?
No, never. I always remember everything. I don't know why. I mean, it's not a talent or anything, but yeah. But I remember everything. I mean,
oh no, it is.
Larry,
I don't know. I remember just fuck, I'll sleep next to this porta john here, fuck it, and then pass out there. But I remember doing everything. So
all right, I'm back.
I can't really say I passed out.
One time I went camping with Don and his friend Roger was there, and I guess we could say he's a mutual friend, but whatever. Roger never really said much to me, and they were drinking this stuff called the blue stuff. Which I'm not sure what was in it. There was a lot of
blue stuff.
Everclear.
Yeah, there was a lot of Everclear out in Pennsylvania at the time.
Yeah.
And they got fucking annihilated. I think you guys drove a golf cart into a ditch or something.
No, I didn't do that. I don't remember. I don't know. Maybe I did.
And they got in trouble for it. And when you get in trouble for it, you have to work at like the community...
puke hall, basically.
Yeah, it was like a place to handle people that are fucked up. And but the next morning it was great. They were both so fucking sick. And I'm sitting there on the camping stove fucking making like oatmeal or something, and I'm like, "You guys want some?" And they're like, "No, no," and then they would just like spontaneously like go around and like start throwing up and stuff. It was pretty awesome. So that leaves Larry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in addition to the cops waking me up on the side of the road, there was another time I actually did apparently pretty well. I don't remember where I was, but I remember waking up in my car in my driveway with like my seat all the way back so I would be more comfortable.
Right.
So that was a good one. Much better than another time. I remember I was living in an apartment at the time, and I woke up in the morning, and I was like sitting on the couch, but like my feet were on the floor, but I was tipped over, like laying down, but with my feet on the floor, and my pants like halfway off with the TV on. That was good.
what are you watching there?
Like I came home, decided to turn on the TV, sat down to get ready for bed, and just lost it. And then, of course, there was Brian's Halloween party, where I decided to go on the food run with the ladies. Made it as far as the end of his parking lot. I was like, "Let me out." Decided to walk back, and while I was walking, I didn't want to like stop and puke because that would be obvious. So I puked while I was walking and just kind of walked bow-legged so I could leave a little trail of puke in the parking lot.
That's always a classic.
Because I didn't want to just like bend over there.
Right.
So this way, no one will be able to notice what I'm doing.
Nobody knows you. Nobody notices the. They're like, oh, he's just spitting.
Or the fact that I'm bow-legged and hunched over. But
it looks like you're diarrheaing from behind.
I just remember walking in the like front door of the building, then waking up underneath the steps that go up to the second floor. Because Brian, of course, lived in like the ground floor apartment right next to the steps. I curled up under the steps, and when I got up to knock on his door, I realized I had walked into the wrong building and fallen asleep under the steps.
Dressed as King Diamond.
Dressed as King Diamond.
That's the part you were leaving out, okay?
Yeah.
It makes it, people who didn't think it was funny now remember. Yeah.
Yes. So there was
He was King Diamond,
passed out
okay.
King Diamond in somebody's apartment, curled
That's
up under the
awesome.
steps.
That is great.
Oh my God.
I remember Joe Husky used to go steal Carl Tuesday's car. Carl Tuesday used to.
I went with
They
him. on one of
videotaped
those
it the one time. That was great.
Carl Tuesday used to go to Flash Gordon's and go drinking, and
He would get annihilated. That's why he went to prison for that,
and
dude. He
Joe-
fucking killed somebody. Or something.
Joe would go in and take his car and drive it around, and then park it into a different parking spot than where he left it, like all the time. So he'd come out of the bar and be like,
Where the fuck is my car?
it'd be like on the other side of the lot. Okay.
Or he just like leaves shit in his fucking car too. Like food wrappers. They go out to eat. They go to a drive-through because he's he's not coming out of the bar anytime soon. So they go to a drive-through. It'd be like him and Dale and somebody else who sit there and just eat, and they leave like all the drinks, like the half fucking empty drinks and food wrappers all over the inside of the car. So he'd come because he always kept his car clean. He'd go back out and he'd look, and it's like some fucking bums went in there and had a fucking picnic and left him all this shit.
He goes, we were getting drunk the one night, and Joe was like, "Come on, we're gonna go kidnap Carl Tuesday." And we're like, me and Packard were like, "What?" He's like, "Come on with me." So we all went with him, and he pulled up, and Carl Tuesday's sitting in his car at the Flash's parking lot. So, or no, I think Oz was there too, because Oz was videotaping the whole thing. And he's like, Joe's like, "All right, there he is in his car. On 3, everybody get out and just jump in his car." He's like, "You too." He's like, "Me and Packard are get in the back." He goes, "I'll go in through the driver's side, and Oz, you come in through the passenger side, and we're gonna get him, and we're gonna go." And they just jumped in the car. Everybody jumped in the car. He's like, "What? What's going on?" Because you know how Carl was with that face he always made. And he was like, "What?" And we took off, and Joe's like screaming on the camera. He's like, "I got adversary's kidnapping you. Tom Packer, Don Anderson, the main man from Adversary. You're being kidnapped. I don't know what. I was just like, what is going on? Or I thought we were just going for a ride to smoke some weed or something. But next thing I know, I'm involved in a kidnapping.
And Jedi, there's your next soundbite for the lead into next year's best of. I thought I was just going to go drive and smoke some weed or something. Next thing I know, I'm involved in a kidnapping.
That's awesome. How do I do it?
It's because of the people we all hang out with. You never do today. You don't know what the hell they're going to do, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. We could spend hours talking about like the parties that everybody's been to.
So,
Brian. Oh, go ahead. I won't get into it.
Yeah.
I'll let you do your thing.
Because there's only 2 hours in the show. So
right, I know.
I don't have any passing out stories. Outside.
Yeah, but Kevin, are you the dude that like went on a beer run and came back and walked into the wrong house?
No.
Is that you?
No, I did walk into the wrong house, but yeah, no beer. I was just going over. I'd never been there before, and Don was like,
every fucking house looked exactly the same over there.
and Don's like, just go in, and I go in, and then like as soon as I went in, he realized when I had walked in that it was the wrong house.
Kevin to say it, he kept on going. I'm like, Kevin.
I was already in the kitchen and shit at that point. That was uncomfortable when the guy came out from around the corner and he's like, "Who are you?" And I'm like, I got the wrong house. And he's like, "What's in that bag?" Videotapes. I'm sure if that was you and you were in your house and somebody just walked in, walked into your house at night, you'd be like, "What the fuck?" Fuck. So,
That's so fucking funny.
all right. So let's talk a little bit about the some of the effects of drinking. Hanging out with drunk people in general
is one of the worst side effects of drinking.
Exactly.
It's not really.
Hang out with drunk people when you're sober.
Right. Yeah.
It's fucking horrible.
Right.
Yeah, I remember having to drive a bunch of idiots to some fucking haunted house in my dad's truck, and everybody was fucking ripped. I think, Anderson, you were there. I think they were trying to push over the fucking porta-john you were in.
That was
remember that?
Briggs Haunted House Party.
Yeah, I drove with Packard. I was wasted, and I told everybody in the car 5 times. You know I'm wasted? I am so wasted right now. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, when you're the person that has to be sober and you're around drunk people, you're like retards.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. Then we all went to fucking Denny's.
Because our
after
friends
that,
don't
and,
drink normally, man. Our friends drink like they just got out of fucking prison after 20 years. They're just like, I'm drinking everything.
Yeah.
Then it all comes to
what kind
an
of work week did you have?
It starts so wild and creative, and then it just abruptly ends.
So Brian, have you ever been in a situation where you've waved off drinking? Have you ever decided to not drink?
No.
No, I didn't think so. That's always been. You've never actually given drink. I mean, not like you're a big drinker, really, but you've never actually been in that situation where you're like, I'm just not going to drink anymore, right?
I do that, but it's usually, I have to work or some shit like that, or I got the kids on the weekend, or just like, I'll go a month. I'm like, I'm just not drinking this month, but it's not just due to some like health reason or, because my friends are going, dude, we all drink, but damn,
We're worried about you.
Yeah.
Plus, everybody gives you some weird beer or something. Vicky Weiss will come over and bring over some ale, and it's not like you're going to be like, oh, I can't have that.
Yeah, I mean, I live out here in the middle of nowhere now, man, so I'm kind of like, not worried about it.
I'm not drinking that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry
I'm
you
not
brought
drinking around
that.
here.
I saw you brought that over. Although, if it was Red Hook, you might.
Yeah.
Anderson. Now, I know you drank when you were before Oklahoma.
I can't even hear you. What?
Yeah, I know you drank before you went to Oklahoma. And then you came back from Oklahoma, and basically you had sworn off drinking for a number of years, right?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much when I turned 21, I quit drinking.
That was no fun.
You got it all fucked up and backwards.
Yeah. Well, I mean, being 100% Scottish, I didn't drink for a long period of time, but for that period of time that I drank a lot. My dad had a liquor cabinet full of liquor, but not
for you.
It didn't make it through sophomore year, I think. But yeah, we did no. I just quit. I was like, that's like waking up in your own puke and going to school and stuff. And I was just like, you know what? I found other things to do. And
but it was like you would go like look. The thing is that it's not like you quit drinking and you were around a bunch of like fellow non-drinkers.
Right, no, I would quit drinking and I was hanging out with all the drunks.
The hardest core drinking people you could hang out with, really. I mean,
guys who would drink warm Black Label, right, Brian?
Who? Me?
You like Black Label?
Not warm.
Oh, well, them guys do Pabst Blue Ribbon cold. You know, when I lived in Oklahoma, you couldn't find Pabst Blue Ribbon, and Rom was like the serious grump about it. He was like, I gotta find Pabst! Every liquor store he would go into, and he finally got into this place, and he had to get on his hands and knees. He actually found a case of PBR at the bottom, on the floor, underneath the shelf, in the back, covered in dust. And he pulled it out, and he was like, is this for sale? And the lady's like, yep. And he was like, I'll take it. She just looked at him and was like, you must be from where, Michigan? And he's like, Ohio. And she's like, yep, you're from up north. You're one of them Pabst drinkers. She goes, nobody drinks that stuff around here. He goes, if you got any more of it, tell me about it now.
That's awesome.
So I was a non-drinker hanging out with drunks.
And did you think that did you find that difficult? Did you find that you,
for the most part?
I mean, but you didn't want to drink, but did you feel tempted at all? And then you just, no, not at all.
No, if I wanted to drink, I would. I still do once in a while. I didn't like quit. It's just that it's one of those things with me. Like I could go without drinking, but if for some odd reason I get one drink in me, it usually just, hey, I think I'll have another one. And I'll have another. What, you want to go smoke some weed? Okay, let's go. Next thing you know, you're fucking.
Yeah, you're fucking.
Well, hopefully.
Yeah,
that'd be
probably
nice.
not, because the next day you wake up and be like, oh.
And wake up, and there's the ex-wife outside the window. Are you going to wake up?
No. Larry, have you ever sworn off drinking?
I temporarily did once after. I think it was after the cops woke me up on the side of the road. I wanted to prove, to everybody and to myself that no, I don't have a problem. I'm fine. So I said I'm going to go, 1 month without a drop, and you'll see I won't even crave it. And I think it was about a week in. I was at a show, and I knew the dude who was doing security for the show, and walks over with his, one of those big, giant, tall beers. He's like, hey, I just tossed out some kid for drinking underage. You want this? I was like, you fucker.
It was.
So I was like, well, I didn't really want the beer. I wasn't craving the beer. If it's offered to me, that doesn't count.
Right.
So
rationalize.
Yeah. So, I went ahead and took the beer. But other than that, that was my period where I proved to myself that I'm not some alcoholic, because I didn't wind up trying to find bottles stashed behind the toilet or anything. I was like, you know what? If there's beer there, I'll drink it. And if there's not beer, I won't drink it. So I think that means I'm healthy. But that was the only time I made a concerted effort to not drink. Now, there have been other periods where I went long stretches without it just because I'm always poor. But
right. That always puts a damper in the beer buying selection.
Yeah, it's like, well, I can either have dinner or beer.
Brian, stop doing Facebook surveys, bastard. I see what you're doing on
myself, dude.
Stop it.
So fucking into myself.
Dude, I feel you, because I'm debating. I'm trying to figure out whether or not the thing will pick up the noise if I play Bejeweled on my computer.
Do not play Bejeweled on your computer. Fucking.
Well, you guys are always never paying attention and doing something else. Like I'm watching the forums or anything like that where people are asking for me to speak in my Scottish voice, but I'm paying attention just like everybody else. I guess.
2 posts before that, I was answering people in the forum. I pay attention.
Everybody thinks Don talking in the Scottish voice is a novelty. Let me tell you something. When you go over to Don Anderson's house Okay,
come on over.
And his parents are there, and then sometimes, like at the one point, you had like the Scottish visitors there who
My
spoke
aunts.
in like a language that was not English. I don't know what they were saying. Okay,
That's because my parents have been here for 50 years, so theirs has somewhat worn off.
it's like
over
my
time.
God, you can't understand it. You're just hoping to hear like you're just hoping to see
Waiting
Donnie.
for that one word you can latch onto to figure out what that sentence was.
You're hoping
Right,
to
right.
see him, and you're hoping that Donnie will speak normal English to you, because otherwise you could get lost in the house, because it's just so bizarre. It's bizarro land.
Because once they start talking, I start trying to talk in the accent. And then I don't even understand the relatives I got over. They're looking at me like, it's a just like, what? Are you got to what? You got to go to the bathroom? No. You want a drink? What?
You just bought a new pig. What?
And then you got Brian Baird, who meets my mom, and all of a sudden he's just like humping a garbage can, like, I got to hump your mom, and she needs to. She needs me. That voice is killing me. I'm like, dude, it's my mom. And that was the day I said fuck in front of her. And she looks at Brian and goes, are you the guy that teaches them? He's like, no, ma'am. Standing there in his fucking leather jacket and his mohawk. Like, no, ma'am. Hanging out at camps, and you're welcome.
Oh my God! I wouldn't let my brother in your house. That was your first mistake, if that was what you did.
I don't think he ever came. No, he didn't come into the house. We saw him at Cam's Corner.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We weren't even home. We weren't anywhere. No, Brian. I don't think Brian's ever.
It was just as well.
You never met my dad, right?
No.
Have you met my dad, Brian?
No.
Don has, right?
No, never met your dad.
Yeah, because you came pulling. Cause remember that birthday party I had where you came pulling in with all the kids in the car, and my dad standing in the driveway, and he's like, "Who the bloody hell's car is this?" And you come pulling up, and then like the doors open up, and like 50 kids come pouring out. He's like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, what's going on?" Shit! Who are you? Who are you? You start screaming. Don gets out. He's just like, "Oh, for fuck, Jesus Christ!"
No one sees. You probably just didn't even pay attention. Probably just
Right.
walked
And everybody just got back, and then everybody just. I was like, "All right, let's just go." We ended up walking.
couldn't fit one more person in the LTD.
Well, no, there was because that was my birthday party, so there was people sitting there waiting.
Right, I remember. I was there.
You were in the car.
It was
Car wash.
It was
Yeah.
We had
So,
a
but
birthday
Brian's
party
never
at
met my
Pizza-
dad. Larry's
Pizza
never
Hut.
met my dad. Don's never met. Sort of.
You always every time you talk about your dad, he sounds frightening.
He is frightening.
Yeah, but did you ever hear with Dan James? Dan James was like, dude, I was scared shitless to meet your dad because all the shit you told me, how he's a drill sergeant, he's all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, dude, he's a badass. I've seen him fight people. He don't care. He grew up poor, so you know what I mean. He's used to fighting and being stupid. And he's like, and then I met him, and the dude's like 4 feet tall. He's like, what's that all about?
Doesn't matter. He'll kick your ass.
That's what I said. I was like, doesn't matter, dude. He's just closer to your dad.
Yeah, it makes you even more. Makes you want to fight even more.
Well, yeah, it doesn't help that
Call
all.
me a short fucker, you weird.
All the oldest brothers like are karate black belts
all-
and shit. And that
They're
was,
all black belts in Taekwondo except for me.
you know, it's not good. All right, so
I play Tiger Woods at 5 a.m. Go ahead.
Cease, did you ever swear off drinking?
Who?
You talking to?
Cease.
Cease.
Oh, never had that problem.
You never decided one day that you just weren't going to drink anymore. It was
Fuck
not-
no. I'm sure I'm going to hit that.
You never
pretty
found
soon.
God.
The way I'm going this year, I'm sure I'm going to hit that.
Yeah, Bailey will be offering to take you for some spiritual leadership.
I
That's
found
what I
God at
need
the
it
bottom
from,
of the
man.
Yeah.
I'll definitely become a devil worshiper after that.
It sounds like you need some fellowship, Brother Don.
There was a time period where I was going to the bar like too much, believe it or not, because I was hanging out with these girls, and like the one girl only had a day off on like Tuesday, and she always wanted to go out with me because she had a kid and her husband watched the kid, so she would go out with me and we'd go to the bar on Tuesday nights, and then Wednesday night, which was April's night, that was the only night she had free from work, so she wanted to go out with me, so we go out on Wednesday, and then like Thursday was like a wings night or something, so I would meet like George Dalton or something at No Excuses and get wings or something like that. And
Out
then
in
like
Berea.
right, and then Friday was like the Harry Buffalo night at the Metal Bar at No Excuses, and then Saturday was like group night where everybody would go out, and then Sunday was like another wings night. So the only day I wasn't drinking was like Monday, and it's expensive to go drinking.
It is.
It's just like it starts, you know, more than anything else, you start looking at your dwindling funds. And I didn't want to be one of those guys that was like at No Excuses and would make like the decision to go drink at Hannah's because the beers were like a quarter less. But a lot of guys did. You know, they were all like, I'm not going here. The beer's too expensive. And they would go drink at Hannah's. And I just wasn't going to be that guy. So, because girls, they got it easy. It's always ladies' night and shit, you know? They're always just like, they walk in the door and they get like 5 free drinks and shit. And it's like, when is a guy's night? You know, that's what you're thinking.
Never.
But, never.
Fucking never.
So, at one point...
drink them under the table, that's why.
I stopped drinking for a while after that because it was more of a fiscal thing than anything else.
Fiscal.
It wasn't doing me any good. Plus, I got pulled over and almost got a DUI once. But this guy saved my ass by talking to the cop. So,
yeah, you would have thought one of my previous almost DUIs would have woken me up, you know.
And since then, I haven't gotten really that loaded.
Yeah, I definitely shouldn't have been driving Friday night. That's for sure.
Well, I wasn't driving yesterday. Jesus Christ! Kevin fucking took out the neighbor's mailbox, and we weren't even drinking yet.
Oh, yesterday? Yeah, it was an accident. Yeah,
What?
You mean yesterday? That was an accident. Well, I remember that time we were leaving that party, and you took out you showed up or something and ripped your oil pan off, taking out the neighbor's mailbox.
That was at Memorial Day party over at Bailey's house, and then the next day we found out that his roommate fucking died.
Yeah,
it was like that time you tried to drive my car from fucking Erica's house. You're like, oh, I could drive this thing. It's like crash, bang. I'm like, all right, let me pull over. And I wasn't any better. I was fucking driving over everybody's fucking tree lawns and shit, scaring the shit.
That was great, dude. Like, fucking. Instead of taking the long way around all those fucking driveways, he's like, fuck this. Just drove straight across. Where it was like, Jesus.
It was awesome. What was the name of that one dude you used to hang out with that used to play role-playing games, Brian?
What, Brian? Or
Brian did. No, back in the day, he used to smoke bud in the park. Cool guy. Used to hang out with him. He had like the
Mark
original
Fraser?
Mark Fraser.
We didn't play role playing games. We played board games.
Whatever. And he had he lived on like a cul-de-sac, and in the middle of the cul-de-sac was like an island. It was just like all green, right, flowers and stuff. And Cease was taking him home after he helped us
my fucking car,
buying beer, and Cease just drives straight through the cul-de-sac to his house. And Mark Fraser's like, well, I really wish you wouldn't have done that because I helped plant that and everything and stuff. And Don's like, oh yeah. All right, and then he gets him out of the car, and Cease throws it into reverse and drives right the fuck back over it, and then fucking leaves. I was like, damn,
that was awesome.
If you don't want it done, you're not supposed to say anything.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Just let him go, let it get away with whatever they just did.
He's like, what an asshole, because I fucking just told him not to do that, and you shouldn't have done that, dude. That's the first thing he'd do.
The whole fucking thing, it started when he's like, what kind of car is this? Oh my God, this thing is like huge. I'm like, you picking on the fucking car that's driving your ass home. I'm going to do something destructive. I made him pay. Fuck him.
So, on the topic of bars then, basically a bar is it's a room with some chairs and a guy serves drinks.
And waste of big money.
Big time. When I was not drinking when I was young, I used to look at bars and I used to think, what is everybody doing in there? Because
so fucking boring.
You're just like, what is going on? It's like it's like there's no movies on. There's sports sometimes now, but I mean, like a lot of bars, there's nothing. It's just people just every day.
They're fucking being goops.
Every single day they go and they might play pool, and fuck when you're like 18. And you're not old enough to go to the bar, so between 18 and 21, all you do is really go and play pool at night because it's the only thing open. So that's the last thing you're interested in doing by the time you get to a drinking age in most cases. So, and then it kind of then you kind of figure it out when you get a little bit older that you just go to the bar to drink
and meet chicks.
Yeah.
Try anyways.
Yeah.
See, my dad used to take me to the bar when I was like 8, like from the ages of 8 till whenever. My dad used to take me with him. He'd just be like, "Come on, I'm going up to the bar to drink."
Play with the nice pickles.
Yep. He's like, "Here, play the." It was like one of them bowling games, but it had the metal disc that you slid across the.
Oh yeah.
I would play that for
That
hours.
game was awesome.
Get a hot dog, get a root beer. He'd get a beer, I'd get a root beer. I was like, yeah, me and my dad were drinking our beers. All the people knew me in the bar. Everybody took care of me. Everybody gave me money. It was crazy. So it was like, so growing up, I was always, you know what I mean? So when I got older, it wasn't like, ooh, I wonder what's going on in there.
But bars are like the only place that you can like kind of get pretty loaded and it's like acceptable. You can drink at a restaurant, but you know, most of the time you're not getting too irate and or start screaming at the game that's on. Kill up, you know. You can't really do it, but at a bar it's okay. But then everywhere else in life, you're basically not allowed to drink. You know, you can't go like order a drink at the movie theater unless it's Cedar Lake. You can't.
There's a movie theater down here that serves alcohol.
I mean, at least in Ohio in general, there's like not. I mean, I guess if you live in New Orleans or something, maybe you could just go like to the bowling alleys. I guess you can drink. I don't know, sporting events you can drink, but most life things, it's not like you can just crack open a beer at work and you know what. You know, there was a boss. Hey, I'm drinking.
Come
it's
on,
cool.
haven't we all gotten drunk at work before? Seriously.
Before, during, and after.
Not the one I have now, but yeah, I have in the past.
Yeah.
The one the one I'm at now, I should get drunk at though.
Yeah, the one in the past.
It was really nice when I was like a kids and family photographer and would be in back drinking. That was always good.
So do you guys?
I said, get on the fucking table, Billy.
We used to have, when I was like 10 years ago, when I was coaching soccer, I was coaching 10-year-olds. There was a dad who brought a cooler, and he would smoke on the sideline, and he would drink beers. And his kids were the best players, so nobody could say anything to him because he would be sitting there screaming at his kids, and they're the best ones on the field, and he would just be having a beer in one hand, a cigarette in the other. Oh, come on, that's bullshit. Let's go. It's just like, oh, you got to get rid of him. It was pretty funny.
So
he wasn't on my team, though.
Do you guys drink at home by yourself?
Rarely, but yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
George Thorogood does.
Yeah.
Drink alone.
So,
I'm doing it currently.
What's the what's the mental process there? Are you looking just to have fun? I mean, what is it?
Mostly because I haven't slept, and I know that.
Get rid of the shakes, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm drinking a bottle of water.
Yeah, because if you drink too much or a little too much, it's like, you know what, it's all good. I'll just get some sleep, and then I'll wake up with a little hangover, but it'll be okay. But it's not like, well, what else am I going to do? Take NyQuil? It's fucking.
Then you're just back to
wake
where
up
you
on
started.
that shit. You're still fucked up.
Right. Back where you started.
So you have a beer, is what you're saying? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just don't know.
Yeah, I have one beer. I'll leave the other 5 in the fridge to turn into fucking bread.
I don't know. All right.
We lost Larry.
All right, when he comes
Do
back, I'll get him.
Leroy.
So, any other stories or lessons for the drinking before we wrap it?
Don't drink. It's bad. Drinking is dumb.
There was something I can't
And
remember.
if you're not going to drink, send all your drinking money to me. There you go.
There you go.
We've already done drink of choice, but we'll do it again. Brian, what's your drink of choice?
Pabst.
Really?
Yeah. I drink Pabst like crazy.
Pabst.
That's pretty much it.
That's if you could get any drink, that's what you like the best. That's cool. All right.
It's just simple.
I don't know. You get vampire wine or something, or
No, I'm not drinking that shit.
the Monty
Just like
Python.
Cannex.
I'm fruity with it. I like the 3 olives cherry with a splash of
I'll do the whole
cranberry and
fucking
7-Up.
Yeah, I'll do the whole fucking foo drink like I did, but that's like a rare thing.
That's either that or rum
What's
and
the
coke.
margarita? There's nothing wrong with margaritas. Especially if it's 45 ounces and it's fucking laced to the gills.
Jesus, dude, I'm still looking at that fucking drink like, oh my god.
Dude, these big dudes came into the Cheesecake Factory and they were ordering straight up hardcore shit. And since the Cheesecake Factory's like strict guidelines about their drinks, like everything's got to be poured perfectly, these guys were like, what the fuck? We're paying all this money for these drinks. I don't even have a buzz. And I'm looking at them like, you don't even have a buzz? I'm like, you've had 5 of those. I'm like, this is insane. He's like, I know. He goes, I want to talk to the bartender now. I was like, you can go talk to her right now. Go ahead. I don't care.
Cease?
Miller Lite or Captain Morgan's and 7-Up.
That's a good one. Captain Morgan's.
What's Captain Morgan's rum?
Yeah, spice rum.
Yeah, I basically just drink Bud Light. I used to drink tequila sunrises all the time, but god damn, do you take some shit from people when you drink,
Really? Those are good. I like those.
when you drink any kind of foo-foo drink around these fucking guys. God
Right.
damn
It's
it!
not really a foo-foo drink.
Well, I
don't-
try to explain it to them, but
Yeah.
it's pointless. You know.
That's it. I told you the one where I was at when I was working downtown on the when I was working on the House of Blues, and me and this other laborer, we went across the street for the last day we went to go eat lunch or whatever. For lunchtime, we went over and got a drink, and he goes up and he gets a beer, and I go up and I'm like 3 olives, cherry, splash cranberry, 7-Up, please. Like, pow, pow. Right, so I got this pink drink in front of me. All of a sudden, this whole construction crew, all the bosses and stuff, come walking in. And they're all drinking beers and stuff, and I'm just standing there with this pink drink. I'm like, oh fuck.
Hello.
Such a fairy. Everybody's like, what's up, Shirley Temple? I was like, nothing. I gotta go.
Shit.
Yeah,
I just thought I'd throw that in there.
I mean that I'm when
Be
I'm
careful who you drink around.
when I'm drunk, I try to go for like
Oh,
the
yes.
most ridiculous drinks, usually in shot form. This just to try to get everybody annihilated, and so
You take their money.
like ruby slivers or freaking I can't even remember things anymore because it's been so long since I've done that. But yeah, basically just to get people like blue Hawaiians are always great to order.
Oh my god, those would kill you.
Because they're just ridiculous. They're all blue and bright and shit. And people are like, "What's that?" It's Elvis's drink.
Fucking ass too.
Dude,
But
I just remembered.
what?
No.
What?
Nothing. I was going to say, I just remembered when I was working at Chi-Chi's and we got a call from headliners down in the flats, and they're like, can you guys come down and open up for Humble Pie tonight? It was for Adversary. And we were like, yeah, sure. They're like, we'll give you a $150 bar tab. We're all 19. We're like 19 years old.
Yeah. I see.
We're all 19 years old, and they're like, yeah, here's a bar tab for you. You go ahead and have $150. We got butt ass wasted. I was drinking drinks I'd never even heard of. That's the first time I ever tried like a kamikaze, a mind eraser, all this shit. I was like, yeah, let me try that, let me try that, let me try that. Oh my god, me and Adam were playing Outrun by the end of the night just to see if we were
Outrun.
capable.
What is it about that fucking game?
Well, we wanted to see if we had the capability of at least trying to drive. So
Yeah, but you usually do better when you're fucked up playing that game. I don't know what
Right.
it is.
we were doing real good, and then I got in the car and threw up.
Larry. Larry, what's your drink of choice?
Wow.
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 Really, I'm basically a beer guy. I like kamikazes, but at the end of the day, I'm a beer guy just because of the quantity and the price.
Favorite beer?
What's that?
Favorite beer?
If I had to pick one,
Jenny Cream Ale.
Oh yeah,
Come on.
good
Jump in
times.
yeah.
If
Ultimately,
that shit's ice cold, I can drink it. I mean, it has to
ultimately,
be so
the answer
fucking
is
cold.
anything other than Red Hook. But at the end of the day, I usually drink Bud Light. Every place has it. I don't have to get into the whole, do you have this? No.
Yeah.
How about that? Now, I mean, there are some foreign beers that I really like. Tecate is really good. Tsingtao's good, but
You
it's
get
not,
into the rice beer.
yeah, you're not going to find those in a bar. So
Stay thirsty, my friend.
Very good.
Brian, what's the worst thing you've ever drank?
Red Hook.
Really, of all the shit you've ever drank, every concoction, you never went to a party and
Out of
drank something
anything
out of a
ever
wa-
mentioned ever,
It was vile.
it was the worst.
It was like
was the beer-
nothing
it was
I've
the beer
seen
we couldn't
before.
finish.
Yeah. The three of us couldn't finish one bottle.
warm feet.
We put it back.
What the hell?
And it wasn't even shame; it was confusion.
It
We just
was-
walked away like
It's
how
like
could somebody make
it's like a wheat beer, but it's just tasted like feet.
that? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
beer.
It's like
Yeah,
licking the bottom
yeah.
of a shoe, huh?
Yeah, it's like somebody soaked their feet in the beer, and then they
You're
soaked bread in the beer, and they took the bread and wrung it out into the bottle.
After they wiped their ass with it.
Ugh, it was just vile. I mean, in my life, I've tried all sorts of fucked up beers because there's a beverage joint over in Middleburg where they have a lot of crazy beers, and every so often I'll go and get like a 6-pack and just mix and match 6 crazy beers I never had before. So I've had some vile tasting stuff, and that remains one of about 2 drinks in my life I've been unable to finish.
What was the therefore, since you've cut in there, what is the worst thing you've ever drank, Larry?
Red Hook.
Is it really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Jeez. All right. Anderson, worst thing you've
I
ever
gotta try it.
everything you've ever drank?
Yeah.
Worst thing I ever drank.
I've had battery acid, and that was better.
I mean, probably whatever that stuff was I had the first time. That nuclear devastation. That stuff was pretty. I don't know what that was, but it was a lot of it, and it was nasty, and it was just straight alcohol. It wasn't even like watered down or nothing. I drank it all. Yeah, that's. I mean,
I'm going to bed when this show's over. So
That's it.
hungover.
It's almost
That's
over.
Stay wakey.
Cease, what's the worst thing you've ever drank?
Ah, God, it has to be a fucking golden Schlager. Fucking, that is the
Dude,
worst.
Schlager
effing
is so good.
shit. It's so gross. I can, that and anytime I see Jägermeister, I fucking get sick. I'm like, oh, get that crap away from me. And it's always right in front of you. And I'm sitting at the bar. It's like, fuck.
I had some of that. Brian, you sound like you're ready to vomit at any moment, man. Like you're taking a shit on the show or something.
Brian, did you drink your water and eat your pizza and breadsticks?
You make crackers. No. Yeah, because I had to have you there to fucking like eat it and then hand it back to me. Going here.
I drank some of that.
Regurgitated into your mouth.
That fake hairy buffalo that Scott Manley made the day after the show, or because it used to be on Fridays, and I had some on the Saturday, and it was really gross. And that would probably be the grossest thing I ever drank. But Red Hook,
Even worse than the Red Hook?
That is hard.
it's hard to remember the Red Hook with. I agree that it was nasty. I'm not. It didn't make me vomit or anything though, because I had enough common sense to stop. So I'm not sure where I'd go with it right now. I'm sure your guys are right though. When you and Brian both agree that a beer is the worst thing on earth, that it's got to be
nothing else, dude. It was horrible.
It's got to be the worst thing ever. All right. Well,
I will say this: I used to hang out with this one stripper, and whenever I was up at the club with her, she always wanted to do double shots of Rumpelmans.
Oh, God.
Every time I'd order the double shots, we'd do our double shots, and I'd be like, "Hey, I'll be right back," and I'd like have to go into the bathroom and puke it up because the shit. I don't know what it was, because like I've had Rumpelmans. Something about making it a double just kicked my ass every time. And it was like I'd throw up, and then I was fine. I could go back to drinking for the rest of the night. But until I took care of that business, I just had that crummy tummy.
sour stomach.
Yeah, but I mean, even that drink, which actually I had to go throw up, couldn't touch Red Hook.
let me ask one more question, and then we'll wrap it up. Brian, what's your next day solution to the hangover? What do you do?
Don't move.
Drink or eat anything? You just
Try not to move too much because it hurts.
you don't drink a bunch of coffee.
A lot of water. No.
Water. That's it.
Water and something like toast. And a lot of don't move.
Lots of screaming kids in the morning dancing around you.
No, there's none of that shit going on because there would be a lot of pain. Pain, Captain.
Shut up!
Anderson, do you have a solution for the drinking hangover the next day?
Yeah, pretty much just like aspirin and some toast and water, and there's other medicines that you could take to help your appetite and stuff like that.
Larry?
Listen, all kidding aside, I drink a lot of water. I eat some pizza or breadsticks because they're starchy and they soak the shit up. I do that the night before. I couldn't tell you the last time I had a hangover.
Wow. Cease?
I'll have to try that out, man. Yeah, tons of water and that's it. I can't eat nothing. Forget it. If I'm that bad, forget it. It's just I can't even look at anything that's halfway solid.
When Cindy listens to me and drinks her water and eats her pizza and breadsticks, Lord knows Brian has seen her fairly friggin' drunk. When she listens,
Cindy's a drunk girl, dude.
the wow, I feel fine. I can't believe it. Telling you, it works.
Well, yeah.
Lots of water and breadsticks.
No,
Pizza and bread.
starchy foods because the starch soaks the shit up in your
Or
stomach.
bread.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Well,
I get
it's-
pizza and
bread.
breadsticks.
If it
Bread.
soaks it up, though, it still has to go out. Like it's not just hanging out there.
Yeah, the next day you'll have to shit. It'll be one of those weird days you have to actually have to take a shit. Oh wait, you were going to be doing that anyhow.
I'm not sure.
Right.
Well, I'll tell you one thing: don't
Just
ever
this time
eat
it wouldn't
like
be
a,
in your pants.
don't even if you want to go out to get drunk, never eat a fucking double quarter pounder because it would just not let you fucking get drunk ever. It's like carrying another person around with you. You're like, what the fuck? I can't catch a buzz. 10th beer. You know what the fuck?
It's all in the burger patty, growing in your stomach.
Yeah.
The bacteria that comes in the Burger King burger just it has a liking for alcohol. It just fucking feasts on it and shit.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, the sports show is going to be next. We're going to do, let's say, 10:35 p.m.
What time is it?
10:20.
It gives me time to go pee.
And,
Me too.
In
But I'll
2
be
weeks, we are going to do another Midwest Wasteland. It will be on houses, apartments, and moving.
Oh
Since
God.
we've all had a hand in
Here's some
that.
bitch in there.
And next week's, we start the new video game news radio show in which we only talk about video games. So find out more about that next week on Video Game News Radio. And as always, Midwest Wasteland. Thanks for listening.
Peace.
Late.
See ya.